Hello everyone, welcome back to Preppy. And this is like the fourth session of the ARC that I'm taking up on YouTube, and second one on RCs. So let's just dive into it and learn various techniques to solve RCs. And today I have come up with a different genre, and I hope you all will enjoy it. So let's just begin. So let's start with the RC. As formal organizations, business corporations are distinguished by their particular goals, which include maximization of profits, growth, and survival. So, the simple explanation that business corporations they have their different particular goals, and that is mostly maximizing the profit, growth, and survival. Providing goods and services is a means to end. How do they, do all of this? How do they maximize profits and growth and survival? They provide goods and services. If, for example, a number of individuals, outsiders or even insiders, believe that a company's aggressive marketing of infant formula in third world countries is morally wrong, the company is unlikely to be moved by arguments based on ethos alone as long as what it is doing remains profitable. So here the company is saying that, let's say people, including the public or even employees, think that a company's way of promoting baby formula in poor countries is ethically wrong. The company probably won't care about these arguments, these moral arguments, these ethics, if it's making money from this activity. So here the ethos refers to the morality of the ethics, right? But if those opposed to the company's practice organize a highly effective boycott of the company's products, their moral view will soon enter into company's deliberations indirectly as limiting operating conditions. So, however, if these critics start a strong boycott, convincing many people to stop buying the company's products, then the company will be forced to consider their moral views. Not because the company suddenly becomes ethical, but because the company starts seeing that their profits are being affected. So these moral obligations or these moral objections, they become business problems, right? They can, at this point, no more be ignored than a prohibitive increase in the cost of certain raw materials. So, at this stage, the company must take these moral objections seriously, just like it would have to deal with a major rise in cost of materials if needs. So, both are now threats to the business goals. So, the first paragraph is talking about how business organizations they have their particular goals, which is mostly earning profits. And how do they earn profits? They earn by providing goods and services. And let's say if a company's aggressive marketing, in third world countries is morally wrong, they are doing something wrong, a wrong tactic is being used, the company will not care about it as long as they are profitable. When do they start caring? When the critics of those, when the critics of those marketing, those tactics, they start boycotting the company's product, and when the revenue is affected, then they start, caring about it, and they change their moral view, and they treat it as a similar problem to, let's say, a rise in cost of raw materials, etc. Right? Then, although the concepts and categories of ethics may be applied to the conduct of corporations, there are important differences between the values and principles underlying corporate behavior and those underlying the actions of most individuals. So, even though we can talk about business ethics and apply ethical thinking to corporations, we have to acknowledge that the companies and people operate in different value systems. Right. A person might act out of compassion, fairness, or duty. A corporation acts only to reach its goals. Right. If corporations are by their nature and or goal directed, how can they acknowledge acts as wrong in and of themselves? So if their nature itself is being goal directed, being profit driven, they are designed to pursue goals like making money. How can they even recognize if something is inherently wrong within themselves? For example, if doing something unethical helps the company achieve their goals, why would the company even consider that action to be wrong? Is it possible to hold one criminally responsible for acts that, if performed by a human person, would result in criminal liability? So, This raises a critical legal and ethical question. Can a corporation be punished for wrongdoing in a similar way we punish humans if they did something illegal? Because if humans do something illegal, they are being held accountable. So can we do the same for a business entity? The first case of this type to achieve widespread public attention was the attempt to prosecute the Ford Motor Company for manslaughter as a result of alleged negligent or reckless decision making concerning the safety engineering of the Pinto vehicle. Although the defendant corporation and its officers were found innocent after trial, the case can serve as an exemplar for our future purposes, or for our purposes, sorry. So one of the earliest and the most famous cases that questioned whether corporation should be criminally responsible was the Ford case. So Ford was accused of manslaughter, that is unlawfully causing death without intent, because it allegedly made poor decisions about the safety design of its car, the Pinto. And even though the court did not convict Ford or its executives, the case is still an example for discussing how corporations can be held accountable for harmful decisions. Now, in essence, the prosecution in this case attempted to show that the corporation had produced and distributed a vehicle that was known to be defective at the time of production and sale, and that even after a great deal of additional information accumulated regarding the nature of the problems, the corporation took no action to correct them. So the legal argument was that the Ford made and sold a car that it knew was defective. Even after more evidence showed how dangerous the car was, Ford did not take any action to fix it. The obvious non-corporate analogy would be the prosecution of a person who was driving a car with brakes known to be faulty, who does not have them repaired because it would cost too much, and who kills someone when the brakes eventually fail and the car does not stop in time. So, if a person did know something knowingly, let's say something similar knowingly, let's say he drove a car, he knew that the brakes were not working, he didn't fix them because it was too costly, and ended up killing someone, they would definitely be charged with a crime. So, why shouldn't a company face the same consequences? Such cases involving individuals are prosecuted and they are won regularly. These kind of cases where individual people are, given a guilty verdict, courts should similarly help, should have similarly held organizations accountable as well. Now, if corporations have no concept of right or wrong because they are exclusively goal directed, can they be convicted in cases of this type? And what purpose would be served by such a conviction? So, if corporations don't actually have a sense of morality and they care only about achieving their goals, is it meaningful to convict them? And if we do, what's the point? What are we trying to achieve by punishing a company? Perhaps we can make a utilitarian argument for convicting corporations of such crimes. So, one possible justification that the author wants to give is that the decision should be based on what produces the greatest good or reduces the harm overall. So, utilitarian argument is given here. The argument would be that of deterrence, conviction, and punishment would deter other corporations from making similar actions under similar circumstances. So the logic is if we punish one company for bad behavior, it will scare other companies and it will, they will behave better in future, they'll prevent harm. So this is known as deterrence. However, there appears to be considerable evidence that deterrence does not work on corporations, even if arguably it works on individuals. So, however, there is enough evidence that it does not work on corporations, and the possibility of being discovered and the potential magnitude of the fine merely becomes more data to be included in the analysis of limiting conditions. So, for a corporation, the risk of getting caught and the size of the fine is just a cost benefit analysis. They treat it as a business decision. Let's say if we are likely to get fined, let's see if the fine is less than the profit we would make. If yes, go ahead. So even a punishment becomes another factor in strategic planning, not a moral consequence. So this is what the author is trying to say, that deterrence does not work on corporations. Now let's go attempt the questions. A claim that things have ethical value to corporations only insofar as they're instrumental in furthering the ultimate goal of the corporation is. So claim that things have ethical value to corporations only as they are instrumental in furthering the ultimate goal of corporation is. So what the author is trying to say, corporations have moral values if they are helping in achieving their goals. So let's see. Necessarily true given the information presented in passage. So this might come out of as too strong. The passage supports the claim, but it doesn't prove it beyond in all the cases. So we'll hold it for now. Let's not eliminate it completely, but again, necessarily true, too strong of a word for me. Perhaps true and supported by the information. Perhaps true, not very extreme. Again, better than A. So I will definitely any day I would choose B over A because I'll give the benefit of doubt, right? So I'm eliminating C after seeing the B option. Perhaps true, but not supported. Definitely supported by the arguments, by the information. Necessarily false? No, it is true. A figment of the author's imagination? No, he has given factual information. So B is your answer. If the company that produced shampoo products opted to stop the routine testing of its product on animals because it decided that it's wrong to cause the animals pain, what effect would this have on the argument made in the passage? This would completely say that, see, the author tried to say that the company will have moral considerations only when people start boycotting them for doing something wrong. अगर कुछ boycott नहीं हो रहा है तो वो नहीं करेगी वो चीज, वो नहीं रोकेगी वो चीज. It will continue doing the wrong thing. So here they are stopping the testing which would cause animals pain. This would say that author गलत बोल रहा है. It would strongly support no, opposite of it. It would support the argument no again. It would neither support nor weaken again wrong. It would substantially weaken the argument yes, क्योंकि यहाँ पे पूरा आइडिया चेंज हो रहा है. It would weaken the argument only if the company is a government owned company. कुछ बात ही नहीं हुई है इसकी तो why would we care? So B is your option. Very simple question. Now, which of the following assertions would most strengthen the author's claim? They are talking about strengthening the author's claim. So, the possibility, just give me a second. The possibility of punishment does not deter many individuals from committing crimes. The possibility of punishment does not deter many individuals from committing crime. नहीं, ये कह रहा है कि individuals पे काम करता है, corporations पे नहीं. तो यहाँ पे individuals का ये तो एकदम opposite बात बोल रहे हैं. The penalties imposed on companies have amounted to a small fraction of their profits. यहाँ पे right, you know, because let's say they are saying that in the last paragraph कि वो एक additional strategic decision बन गया है कि fine is equivalent to what's the fraction of their profit. अगर ज़्यादा मतलब if profit is more than the fine imposed, go ahead with that. So has been discussed, so we'll hold on to this one. Strict anti-pollution laws have cut down the waste dumped by companies into river. अगर लॉस से कुछ होता तो क्या ही बात होती है. द लास्ट पैराग्राफ सेड दैट अगर फाइन ज्यादा नहीं लग रहा है तो द कंपनीज विल कंटिन्यू डूइंग द हार्म. So laws say they do not really care. They care only about their goals. So definitely does not strengthen the argument. The trial of corporation is often extended over a period of several years. Again, does not strengthen, irrelevant to certain aspect, right? I would not consider that. Corporation have a battery of lawyers. Again, what do I do with this information? When I have B, so B is your answer. Three questions. Here the B is the answer. Here B is the answer. And here also B is the answer. Okay, so lucky day for you guys. So I hope the passage was interesting enough. I hope you understood how to eliminate the wrong options and choose the right one. And just we'll continue with this series. We'll do more of it. And I hope you guys watch the entire playlist. We'll do different genres of RCs. So stay tuned for more updates.